Welcome back to Moko Plays Satisfactory. Last episode, we did a couple of things. We set up some motor production up on the top of our iron factory there, generating motors in an ongoing basis because we're going to need quite a lot of those for some more complex buildings that we're going to be working with in the next stage of the game. We set up some temporary encased beam production, which again we're going to use to get to milestones, and going to need encased beams for the next kind of round of progression as well. And then we came here to this area kind of north of our base because there's an oil patch down here. So we tapped that crude oil and ran it into these 4 refineries here, which are between them generating us 40 rubber and 40 plastic per minute. And we're just dropping these into these storage containers here. The only thing I've really done between streams is a little bit of colour coordinating, so I set some custom values for this swatch and this swatch to help make it more clear that this pipe here network is carrying heavy oil residue, and similarly that's what these buffers are as well. And these pipes over here are carrying crude oil. You don't have to do it. If you've got the default colours, you still get these windows in the pipes there where you can kind of see what's being transported, but I like to do it. I think it's a decent look. And it's handy from looking at a network of pipes at a glance. You can easily tell the inputs and outputs of those buildings. So yeah, I'm a fan of that. So I've just been letting the plastic and rubber build up for a few minutes here so that we've got enough to unlock the next couple of milestones for us. And that's what we're going to go and do now. Grab some of this stuff, head back to our hub, and we'll take a look at what the next batch of milestones gives us, make a decision as to which one we want to target after the one that we've got currently selected there. In terms of the order that we're going to tackle this stuff, I haven't made a firm decision yet. We can either kind of take up hitting every tier in line, and that certainly means that you never get ahead of yourself, I guess, in terms of, you know, tier 3 requires a resource that that tier 2 produces and so on and that sort of thing. If you try and like leapfrog not the tiers but the individual nodes, I should say, if you try and leapfrog those, sometimes you end up like in a situation where you haven't unlocked the ability to make X resource, but you need it to actually like power something you built by getting ahead of yourself. That's kind of what I'm thinking here in terms of if we were to go for gas masks, say, well actually we can make everything that we need here now, but do we have everything we'd need to make enough gas filters? That I don't know about. Does it require something that's in one of these tiers? And that's very much true of the jetpack. I would love to just rush ahead and get the jetpack now. We can't produce packaged fuel just yet, but we could maybe buy some through the Awesome Shop, but then we're going to need packaged fuel to power the jetpack to get round. The flip side of that argument is it would be easier to do the building of these kind of things and these kind of things if we've got the jetpack. It would be easier to explore the world and find some alternate recipes that might help us out in setting up these factories if we have the gas mask and the jetpack. So that's kind of where my thinking is at the moment. Either way, we've got practically everything we need on us right now to unlock this one. So let's do this. Okay, cool. Looks like we just need another handful of motors, but we have automated that production last episode. So let's just go and grab some of those. Just take all of them. We're gonna need a fair few to do some bigger builds in the near future, I'm sure.
Milestone reached. The manufacturer increases production complexity. A critical look at production line logistics and efficiency is recommended during integration. The truck allows for increased efficiency in transportation, automated or otherwise. New project parts enable progress to the next phase.
Alright, so yes, that gives us the manufacturer, which is the big boy version, an assembler. 4 inputs, 1 output, so there's a fair few manufacturer recipes that use either 3 or 4 separate components to make more advanced parts. Things like the modular engine and the adaptive control unit, which we need for space elevator. That needs some really quite complex stuff. That needs some of this stuff as well. Each of those require a space elevator part that we didn't fully automate earlier in the playthrough. That one needs smart plating, and that one needs automated wiring, I think you could call it. So probably one thing we should look at is getting our box crafting for those parts back online, especially if we're going to need 15 of those, oh well, 7.5 of those to make one of those, and we need to make 100, then that's 750 automated wiring that we need. That's, you know, that's no small ask. So yeah, let's go and take a look at our temporary kind of box crafting setup over here. We've got this one still chugging along, making our versatile framework. Yes. Need 2,500 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 400 to a row. So that's going to need to just chug away for quite some time. And it also needs feeding. This one we set up for automated wiring. We just need to drop in some status and some cables, and that'll continue doing that. Is this the one that I said we needed like 750 of? That's right. So gonna need just like periodic drops of a lot of cable and a lot of status. And then the other one we had set up to make smart plates, but we've since co-opted this area to make encased industrial beams. And not all that many of them either. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is just top all of these up and let them keep producing what they're producing right now. And we'll crack on getting tier upgrades and that sort of thing. I don't want to get super distracted and focus solely on space elevator parts right now. We had plenty of modular frames. We really need all of the concrete, all of the cables. Incidentally, this stuff right here is like where the extra inventory space mod comes into its own. Like, this would just be tedious to do with the default inventory sizes. So that's one reason why I'm a proponent of that mod. Grab some steel beams and some stators from down here. And then I think unlocking the gas mask is a no-brainer. It doesn't take any resources that we don't really have right now, and it is going to help with world exploration. I am leaning towards unlock the jetpack to help with that world exploration as well, because like we're going to need so many encased beams, if nothing else. I really want to go out and find the alternate recipe for that, and that's going to be such an easier thing to do with the ability to jetpack around the world. As well as just like some of the bigger builds and stuff that we're going to do in the near future will be much easier with jetpack as well. What's this one creating as this versatile frameworks? Yeah, again, we're limited by having steel beams. What I don't want to do is like go and invest a bunch of time into upscaling steel into some big factory when we haven't yet got our clear path to making encased beams. Like, you know, they are such a core part for the next stage of the game. Could go and expand our steel production, tap into new iron nodes and new coal nodes, set up so that we're making more steel beams, so that we're making enough steel beams to like power both of these machines and that sort of thing, and then we'll go ahead and find the alternate recipe that makes us want more steel pipes instead. And they're not like a one-to-one in terms of production. You need so many more. You can power so many more machines, so many more assemblers when you're doing steel pipe construction from the same kind of raw amount of steel compared to doing them with beams. So if we set up a beams factory, we'd just have to tear it down and put it back together when we switch most of our production over to pipes. So yeah, that doesn't really give us clearest picture of what's next. I think we do gas mask. I think we buy or budge our way towards some packaged fuel for the jetpack, and then I think we loop back around to doing the alternative fluid transport, the expanded power infrastructure and that stuff. I think that's the play here, is we'll go here, then we'll go here, and then we'll come back and think about these things when we've got some more tools to work with. How are we going to leapfrog here when we need packaged fuel to unlock the jetpack? That's where hopefully we have enough coupons in the awesome sink that we can go and just buy some packaged fuel parts from the store, if they're even available to us at this point. That's a good question. The awesome shop, it's not like you can go in right now and buy endgame parts. It kind of makes new things available as you're progressing through the game. Ooh, we can buy empty canisters right now. That's what we can do. I guess I wonder if we've unlocked canisters already. Then no, we haven't. Okay. So would buying empty canisters help us at all? I don't think it would, because we'd need the packager. I wonder if something's changed here. I feel like I did exactly this thing on my last big playthrough in terms of leapfrogging some tiers and going to jetpack slightly early. Maybe it's just a case of unlock this milestone and then don't bother to like fully produce any of that stuff. Anyway, I am doing lots of rambling about what to unlock next, when at least the near-term answer is gas mask. Doesn't look like we've got any fabric. Fabric's not something that you use like tons of. What does it take again? Mycelia, biomass. That's mycelia, that's a little bit of fabric. And we have biomass kicking around here from, hey, remember this stuff? Remember when this was like all of our power? Those were the days. Unfortunately, what we haven't been doing is storing any biomass. Just been sending it all straight through for solid biofuel, because why would we ever need biomass? Turns out this is why. That's alright, we can just grab some flower petals and handcraft our way to success. No, you can't make biomass from flower petals. That's okay. Right, let's grab some leaves and things and stuff and things then. You can make biomass from mycelia itself, you may have noticed while we were in there looking at that. That to me is a waste when there is so much leaves, trees and stuff that isn't mycelia around the world. Like, really, mycelia's kind of relatively rare. If you know kind of where to look for it, you can probably always make sure you've got a steady-ish supply. But yeah, it's one of those things. It would be quite wasteful to use to turn it into biomass when we can just do a couple of minutes of running around like this and probably get as much biomass as we need. Make the fabric, to make the gas masks, to let us explore. Explore places like this, because it's these dudes who are about to let off some poison gas. Let's make some of this stuff then. So yeah, even when you're, I think we're getting on for like 30 hours into this world now, including, probably about half that time has been on stream and about half of it's been collecting and exploring and upgrading little bits off stream. Definitely 20 plus hours, but even so, it just makes sense to do a little bit of handcrafting sometimes, especially when it's something like fabric that I'm going to need to make like 4 times ever. Doesn't make a ton of sense to set up production for it when all it takes is a minute or 2.
Milestone reached. Gas masks and filter parts will ensure increased odds of survival in gas-based hazardous environments.
Okay, cool.
Fixit Incorporated would like to extend the friendly advice to not forget to change filters.
Oh, we need more fabric. And coal. Well, that's fine. We have plenty of coal somewhere. Oh, that's just for the gas filters. I read that and thought it literally takes 2 fabric. There we go, it takes 100 to actually make the mask. I'm pleased I am not going completely insane. Okay, so with 1 gas mask, that's kind of all we need forever. We then now just need to make sure that we've got a little bit of resource to make filters periodically. Alright, and coal. Do we have coal anywhere nearby? We do. I do sometimes plan ahead. Not very often, but sometimes. Okay, so we have gas filters, we have gas masks. Or a gas mask. Just drop that on. And we can essentially be always wearing that. You saw in the bottom left we have 19 filters kicking around in there. That'll just like sit there passively until or unless we run into any poison gas. At which point it should then start to deteriorate. But it lets us get the goodies are in the poison gas, which is kind of the whole point. Like this power slug, for example. Do your worst, you strange, plenty animal-y things. Anything else up here, or was it just this power slug? Just a power slug by the looks of it. But I see more poison over here. Hey, it's another power slug. You can, if you're wondering, like, get in and grab these things before you've got access to the gas mask. Sometimes you just have to be quite careful about get in, get out, make sure you've got healing items ready and that sort of thing. Right. Where am I going? I have wandered quite a long way from home. But yeah, that's going to make getting resources substantially easier. Now imagine coupling that with the ability to just traverse from the top of that gap to the other side of a large valley or whatever. That's really why I'm considering like kind of sequence breaking towards jetpack if it's possible. Right. Speaking of coupons and things like that, then how are we doing? Four coupons. In there we have 7 already. Okay, I think the way to go here is we genuinely can't unlock this yet because we can't even buy packaged fuel, so we'll have to unlock this tier of alternative fluid transports first, rather than build up a fuel line and packager and all of that stuff. I think what I'll do is unlock this tier, buy a couple of packs of packaged fuel from the Awesome Shop, use that to unlock the jetpack, and then we'll have an easier time exploring the world to find alternative recipes and that sort of thing. That's going to help us out in we actually get to like building some of this stuff. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. So let's select that. This needs motors, it needs plastic, which is fine. Motors we're good for. Plastic, we just need a quick trip to our plastic factory. Copper wire we have here, or just general wire. The other thing it needs is heavy modular frames, which we have not automated, and I would say we're not really ready to automate yet. The few that we've got here, I'm assuming I just found around in the world at crash sites and that sort of thing. Let's throw in the 15 that we've got. I'll need to make a quick trip to grab some plastic, and then the other thing we'll want to do is just probably handcraft some heavy modular frames. We have the materials to do it. So I'll pause the stream, I'll do a quick plastic supply run, I'll craft some of these by hand, and then we'll check back in. Alright, that's a little bit of handcrafting and collecting done. So let's grab those in there, and send that off.
Milestone reached. Fluids can now be packaged to allow for transportation via vehicle and conveyor belts. Additionally, highly improved biofuel can now be produced.
I have never messed with biofuel. I'm going to say the reason for that is that it comes from a resource that you can't stick a miner on. You have to be gathering stuff out in the world, and that's just, aside from when we really have to, like we just did to make that fabric, we're just not doing that now. Like, I don't get the appeal of biofuel in this game. Okay, what do we have parts-wise? We can buy some packaged fuel. We can buy 100 of it for 2 coupons. Now, coupon generation is not through the roof, but this seems super worthwhile to me. So yeah, let me grab 2 lots of that. That'll give us the 50 we need to unlock the jetpack, and then 150 to fuel it once we've got it. Did that go straight into my inventory? No. Oh, there it is, man. This UI infuriates me every time I forget to that there's another tab here that you have to click into to get your purchases. Specifically when you're purchasing parts. Everything else, you know, just drops straight into your recipes list or whatever. Anyway, minor rant over. So yeah, nothing to do here, but wait for the pod to come back. So let me pause. We'll jump back in and play about with jetpack a little bit. All right, that's ready to unlock now. So let's drop in our stuff.
R&D inflated your pocket dimension and has provided a jetpack, which operates on oil-based fuel, for increased navigational capabilities as well as odds of survival.
Nice, and thankfully we had enough circuit boards from just random collections around the world to jump straight in and unlock it. So, goodbye parachutes. Hello jetpacking. So, if you haven't seen the jetpack before, here's how it works. When you're in the air, you press the jump button again and you will start to jet around. You can see I've got 147 fuel left there. And that fuel's ran out, and then it'll recharge when I'm standing on solid ground. So it makes navigation around factories much easier. It makes navigation around the world much, much easier. The other neat thing is you can use it in combination with things that give you any kind of momentum. So, for example, if we were to take this pipe here and point that last output upwards, it would give us a hypertube cannon or launcher, which are really fun things, and you can get great distance. Obviously, you don't have to use a jetpack to use those, but you can then translate the momentum into further momentum to be used with the jetpack, or to be controlled with the jetpack, I should say. And you can do the same things with like conveyor belts. If you've got a high level belt, that'll give you extra momentum to then set you off on your way. And just generally, you know, run, slide, and jump. Navigate the world this way. Much, much faster and easier than running around on foot, which is why I was so keen to get hands on it. And it'll certainly make going out and exploring the areas of the map which we haven't really been to yet. Everywhere around here, around here, around here probably have plenty of power slugs and no small amount of crash sites with alternative recipes as well. So that's going to be the focus really for the next little bit of play, which I'll probably not be doing on a stream. It's just to go out there, do exploration, find alternative recipes, ready to come back, and then once we have got some of those, we're going to want to do things like refactor our steel production, make encased beams. Going to want to refactor that basic oil production as well, so that we're doing something with the the alternative or the byproducts, including making fuel, so that we can continue to power our jetpack on an ongoing basis. So yeah, that's kind of what's next, really. So that seems like a good place to leave it there for today. Check back in next episode, and hopefully we'll have some things that are going to give us a leg up into the next stage of the game. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode.